everyone, it's John here and welcoming Logan Stankoven, newest draftee of the Dallas Stars. Logan, how's it been going? Thank you so much for coming on and let us know what you've been doing this offseason so far.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for reaching out to me and getting me to do this, John. Things have been good. Just the normal with, my training and on-ice sessions, off-ice stuff. So that's been keeping me busy. But, things were pretty crazy the past, I guess, week and a half, with the draft. And, obviously that was a stressful weekend, not knowing what team's going to pick you or where you're going to go, what round. So I tried to enjoy that as much as I could. And obviously it was a relief when I was drafted and the Stars picked me. So I was really happy and pleased about that. And then I just got back from the World Junior Summer Camp. So I spent a week in Calgary and that was a lot of fun and a good eye-opener for me just to see how many good hockey players there are.
Yeah, man. Congrats on getting drafted, of course. And what was that process like leading up to the draft? Did you talk to the Stars ahead of time? And what was your kind of sense? I guess I know you're saying there was a lot of question and nerves and stuff like that, but what was the process kind of going into it?
Well, usually, I guess the interview process consists of lots of Zoom calls and phone calls from different teams. There's a few teams that seemed really interested and actually came back around twice to interview me. So I think Seattle, LA, and Boston were the three teams that seemed most interested in me. I hadn't really talked to the Stars too much leading up to the draft. I know I spoke with one representative, I believe it was a week before the draft. So, I just kind of spoke with them. I guess there is a connection with Tom Glardy being the owner of the Stars and the Blazers here in town. So, I guess they didn't really need to interview me too much because, Tom knows a lot about me as a person and as a player. So I guess they didn't really need to ask me too much. But, I guess Dallas wasn't one of the teams that, I thought would have chosen me. Obviously, I'm super happy and pleased to go there. But, in terms of, what team I kind of expected to be drafted to, Dallas wasn't really on there. So, but obviously very happy and thankful that I was, picked by a great organization.
And obviously, with COVID, things were so different with Zoom calls and all of that. So I guess, do you have any friends that have gone through kind of the draft process previously or anyone and obviously you only played a few games over that year. So kind of what was that process? And did you talk to a lot of people during that process as well?
So basically our goalie with the Blazers here, Dylan Garand, was drafted by the Rangers in last year's draft. And I sort of kind of just, talked to him about it and asked him about the whole process because obviously last year's draft was virtual as well. So I kind of wanted to get a feel for, what it was like and what they kind of expected. So, he kind of just talked to me about it and explained things. And obviously on a normal, occasion, we'd meet in person. I guess after games, the scouts would come and watch you and then they'd speak to you in the hallway after the game or maybe go out for lunch or something one of the days. So obviously, that wasn't possible with COVID going on. So lots of Zoom calls and phone calls and stuff like that. But then in terms of games, it was pretty tough. I only had about 6 games with the Blazers here, and then I took off for the U18s, and I think I played 8 games there. So I think I only had 14 games in total to kind of impress the scouts and everyone watching and kind of make an impact. I thought I tried to do that, to the best of my abilities. And I think I had 10 points with the Blazers before I left. And then I finished off with 8 or 9 points at the U18. So I personally thought, I did enough to, I guess, try and solidify myself as a first round pick. But obviously with me being a smaller player, I think I dropped a little bit. And, I think teams are, I guess, a little bit scared of, maybe choosing a smaller player if things don't work out down the road. But, luckily Dallas believed in me and has given me a chance to, have success in their organization moving forward.
Yeah. And how has that been? And like being a smaller player, kind of your mindset and what you're going to do going forward. I think a lot of the mindset for whether it's fans or scouts or different people, there's been regrets or there's been missed opportunities. Like I'll throw an example out there, like Cole Caulfield, for example. That's a player that's smaller that dropped a little bit for some teams, and maybe some teams are going to regret. So for your mindset right now, what are you trying to do going forward? And I guess showing some teams that they shouldn't have passed on you.
Yeah, for sure. I think it just makes me hungrier and makes me work so much harder to try and make sure that those teams down the road regret that they didn't choose me. And I think I'm also just playing for the smaller players, coming up through the ranks. Obviously seeing Caulfield and Braden Point and DeBrincat, having such great seasons, and for them having success. I think it just opens up doors for smaller players like myself and other guys moving on. So, I think that's something that I'll keep in the back of my mind is, hopefully if I can have success, maybe it'll open doors for other smaller players to come into the league. Cause, obviously you have to have the full package, but I don't think size can determine, how much success you have. For me, it's never, I guess affected my game and how I've played or how I've approached, the way I play the game. So, I just try and watch those smaller players and see what brings them success and obviously try and translate into my game.
And you were saying you just got back from the U20 camp. How was that, and what was that experience like?
Yeah, that was fun. There was 2 different teams there. I believe it was 02s and 03s. So for me being an 03, it's not really my year to make it. Obviously, I have another shot at making it next year. So I think I just wanted to take it all in. I didn't expect to be even invited to that camp at all. So when I got the phone call, I was pretty excited and definitely, thankful that, I was getting this opportunity, and then to go there and play against some of the best talent, for my age group and the guys older than me. It's pretty cool just to see what it takes to play at that level, and, lots of great players. So I think, it'll be good just to learn from that camp and, I guess take it with me moving forward.
And just going forward, I'm sure you've talked about it a bunch with different people, but whether it's with the WHL or leading forward into the NHL, for people that don't know you too much as a player, what kind of style do you bring? What's your go-to move in a shootout, or just what's your style like on the ice for yourself?
I think I'm a guy who brings lots of energy, try and create turnovers or get on those D-man quick. And as soon as I see a loose puck, I think my first few steps are really quick. But I think just my skating overall, once I get moving, that definitely can, use some work. My stride length just isn't where it needs to be. So I think if I can improve my skating, obviously it's huge for a smaller guy. So if I can improve on that, and then, I think it'll really round out my game really well. But, I think one of my strengths right now is definitely my shot. It's something I've worked on, since I've been a young kid. I've got a shooting room in my basement and under the garage. So I'm in there a lot, shooting pucks and staying on the ice after practice and working on little things. So I think that's something I pride my game off of.
Obviously you're your own player and you focus on your own skills, but when you look at the guys in the league or growing up, did you look at a certain player, idolize a certain player, or do you compare your style of game to maybe a player in the league?
Yeah, growing up, like when I was super young, I obviously really looked up to Crosby. He's not the biggest guy either, but I think he just brings the full package and is such a great human being off the ice and away from the rink. He does so many good things, and for me, I've never heard one bad thing about Crosby. So just goes to show how much of a class act he is. And then another guy growing up was Mike Camilleri when he played on Montreal. So I really liked watching him play with Gomez and Gianta and Markov and all those guys. So they had a pretty good team there. And yeah, I think it's just another smaller guy like myself. So just guys that I look up to, and I had a lot of fun watching growing up.
And have you spoken a lot to the Stars after getting drafted? What have those conversations been like? And what are your plans for the rest of the offseason?
Yeah, I've talked to them a couple times since the draft. They just basically kind of wanted to reach out to me and give me some details for, I guess camp coming up. I already know when I leave. So that'll be September 9th, I leave. They'll fly me out to Dallas. I think I'll skate there for a few days, and then they're going to fly all the prospects out to Traverse City in Michigan, and there's going to be a showcase there. So I'm not exactly sure how many teams, are there or what teams will be playing, but I think it'll be a good taste of what pro hockey is like. And, I think that'll be the closest I'll get for now to, I guess getting that first taste of pro hockey, and just to see, what parts of my game need work in order to play at that level. So I'm just really looking forward to it.
And what's your routine like day to day and pregame? And you got anything you do before heading on the ice?
In terms of game days, I usually like to have about a 1 hour nap just sometime during the day. And then I guess pregame meal is salmon, or I guess, some type of fish with rice and veggies. So try and keep it healthy that way. And then before games, I'm not a crazy superstitious guy, but I like to stick handle in the hallway, just kind of get my hands warmed up and going. I usually like to roll out before games, and then also play some sewer ball with the boys. So I think that's just a few of, the things I do to get ready before a game.
Hey man, I won't keep you too much longer. I really appreciate the chat. Is there anything big you're looking for going forward, or what are your expectations like for yourself? Are you just gonna enjoy it and kind of just keep working at your game yourself, or do you have any kind of big goals ahead for your game?
Yeah, I think just going into my first pro camp in Dallas, I think I just want to impress all the scouts and show them that, hey, I can be a first round pick. Even though I was drafted in the second round, I think I want to, I guess make a statement for myself and make sure that, that I deserve to be drafted in the first round. And it's just going to, like I said before, it's just going to make me hungrier, and it's going to want me to make, I guess prove people wrong and all the doubters. So I think I just want to go into camp. Obviously I don't expect much in terms of, playing pro hockey yet. So I think it'll be a few more years before I make that jump. But if I can go in there and turn a couple heads and make sure that I leave a good impression, I'll be happy about that.
Hey, Logan, well, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. And for myself, I'm really looking forward to watching your game grow and watching to see where you go. So thanks for coming on. And again, congrats for being drafted to the Stars.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks, John.